Hey, this is Sean Decker with Dread Central. We're here at the Screamfest Film Festival 2014 for the U.S. premiere of Fear Clinic, starring Cory Taylor of Slipknot and Stone Sour fame.
Right.
And he's here to talk to us about the movie and his love of horror. So, you're bridging out into film, following a really successful rock career, which is still being successful.
Yeah, I know, right? It's crazy. I mean, it was one of those things, you kind of put a list together of stuff you'd love to do, writing books, I got to do that, directing videos, which I'd kind of done with both bands, or writing treatments. I'd acted in the videos, but I wanted to try my hand at movies, and I didn't know if I was going to be any good. I still don't know if I'm going to be good, but it was one of those things that even if I only get to do the one, it's one of those things I can point to and be like, I got to do that, so I was pretty fortunate to be able to be a part of this.
So I've read that you've been a horror fan ever since a child, seeing the trailer for Halloween on television.
Yeah.
What was it, Buck Rogers?
It was Buck Rogers with Gil Gerard.
I watched that same show, and
right?
my life actually got changed by happenstance, seeing Halloween in the theater when I wasn't supposed to.
Oh, exactly.
Right,
So seeing that trailer, man, I was like, I don't even want to see the movie that's coming on now. And there was just something so evocative about the imagery, because if you go back and you watch that trailer, at first you don't really know what's going on, and then all of a sudden all hell breaks loose, and you're like, oh,
Absolutely.
And I didn't get to see it until, it was probably a few years later that I actually got to sit down and watch the movie, and it was just as good as I imagined it. So, to me, that is like the quintessential, I hate slasher movie. I hate that term because to me, Halloween, the original anyway, is so much more psychological than anything else. Yeah, I mean, there's very little blood, exactly, and it's got a Hitchcockian vibe to it, and I just love it, man. It's so tense and tight, and it's, yeah.
So given that and the time period, I'm quite sure your appetite was whetted for the other slasher films, quote unquote, that were coming out at the time.
Yeah.
In the sake of this conversation, Nightmare on Elm Street.
Nightmare on Elm Street,
so we're moving forward this many years in a Fear Clinic, and you're acting opposite Robert Englund, who played Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
How's that whole process been for you?
I'll be honest, man, it took me a day to kind of stop fanboying, it seemed like me and Robert were always in the makeup trailer together, so he'd be telling me these crazy stories of the Sunset Strip in the 80s, because
Rob has those stories.
Very much so. I mean, because if you think about it, Freddy Krueger was not only the rock star of the horror genre, but he was almost like the superhero of the genre too, because it wasn't, there was something sinister about him, but there wasn't that overt scare moment. It was just cooler, there was something about him that I just couldn't put my finger on, but I loved, because I saw all the movies in the theater, so, except for the first one, but everything after that I went, I would just see them religiously. So to be hanging out with him and then just getting to know him and then talking to him on the set and then being in scenes with him, which, no fucking pressure there, right?
Right.
But it was everything you want.
How did you approach the role of Bauer in Fear Clinic?
Bauer was described in the script as being as rapey, he looks rapey. So I grew a mustache.
Great.
Oh yeah, I did crazy, terrible haircut. I grew super creepy mustache. My wife wouldn't kiss me the whole time I had it, and I kept it for the entire shoot, just to be a jerk. And I just tapped into the people that I kind of grew up with, who were just, because I grew up in a kind of a gnarly house environment, so there wasn't a lot of good stuff going on. So having been exposed to that, I kind of knew the attitude. He was kind of cocksure, a little not afraid to hit on someone that a little inappropriately, and just kind of be that slimy, oily dude. But at the same time, the first day I was on set was the first day that Robert was there as well, and he kind of grabbed me. He's like, you realize that you and Kevin are Ig and Ook. You guys are the comedy relief. So I was like, okay, so we've got to get up. We got to be a little, funny as well,
Walk
So
that line.
And then, all the scenes I had with me and Kevin, man, we'd spitball a bunch of stuff together, and really so it really came off like we knew each other, because in the script we knew each other. So it was kind of bouncing back and forth between this angling kind of creep, and also this guy who has this, relationship with Kevin, who's very lovable in the script, especially in the movie. And yeah, we had a lot of fun playing with it.
How surreal was it for you? I mean, those first few days before you settled into
It was,
you're working with peers and you're making your days, etc.
You know, there's this thing with me that, especially now at this point in my life and my career, where I'm very grateful for everything I get. So the first couple days was just me kind of soaking everything in. You know, I must have walked the entire set like 1,000 times before I even shot any footage, so I knew the set really well before I even got to do anything. And it was cool then, because then they'd set up my shots and I'd be like, oh, it's here, so I can come in from this way, and and I was, or excuse me, I was when I wasn't like kind of psyching myself out, I was trying to this is like, well, in the movie, where do I come in, and trying to be that guy. But then I realized that I just need to loosen up, and just have fun with it. Because then there was Fiona, who was in character almost the entire time. So she is just keeping herself stressed.
This is really method.
Losing her mind, and she's fantastic. She's one of those actresses that just pops off the screen. She naturally doesn't like my character, so I'm not going to get to know her until we're done filming, really.
Right.
And then when I was done, she came up and she was so cool to me that I realized it's like, oh man, she's there, and she's just like her dad, So it was a lot of just drinking it in, trying to hold on to it, and not just kind of fight my way through it,
How is it working with Robert Hall?
He's a great dude.
He's definitely about getting the day.
He's got a great eye. You know what I'm saying? A lot of directors, and I tell you what, man, he was really great, especially the constraints we were under. It was a quick shoot. Everything for the most part was all in the building that we shot in Ohio, and even though it was bleak, I mean, it snowed the entire time we were there. Being from the Midwest, I'm used to it. These poor Californians, they're not handling it well. But having said that, he was able to get there. Some of the stuff that I've seen, because I haven't seen the movie all the way through, just some of the stuff that I saw in the playback, he got so much color and so much texture and so much character going on in the scenes, that it was a whole different side to him that I really got to see, because he is a very gregarious guy, very easy to hang out with, but when he's on it, he's cracking the whip, and he's cracking it for a reason, because he wants to see what he wants, and I think he did a fantastic job. I'm stoked, man. Yeah, I'm nervous as hell, to be honest.
That's natural.
It's like, God, you kind of have this idea of what it's going to look like, right? And then, yeah, but it could be completely different than what I imagined. And I just honestly, I kind of want to watch it, and it's been long enough that I think I'll be able to watch it without any preconceptions. I can just watch it autonomously and just enjoy it for what it is.
It's got to put you in an interesting position, though, in not having complete creative control.
It's cool, though. It really is, because the only way that you can run a project is if you've been under a project where things have been out of your control, because you can see so many different ways to run a project. And the thing that I learned over the years is that whether it's producing an album or working on a music video set or anything, it's that the more comfortable and the more engaged and dedicated people feel, the better you're going to get. Because if you really try to, if it's too regimented, too strict and strenuous, people get burned out really easily, because most of their energy is going towards keeping themselves happy or keeping themselves up. So if you can kind of make that, make the crew and everybody involved feel like you're part of a team and you're feeling good, then it kind of everything just flows, and that's what it kind of felt like on the set. I mean, there was a great local crew that was working on this, combined with some really great people from California. Okay. And because everything was, even with the weather and just trying to kind of get everything together, we were able to kind of talk and just just bullshit and just hang out and have a really good time, and I think that it made the hours a little quicker, right. And as for me, I mean, I can take direction with the best of everybody, to me, I don't have to be the boss to be working on something that means something, as long as you believe in what's going on, why not, and after I'd read the script, I was totally in.
buzz is that you're working on your own horror feature.
Yeah, I was actually working on this before I did Fear Clinic. And
in what capacity, and what can you say about
just
it?
In a production capacity right now. I'm trying to sneak myself a role in it, just a little one, but which I'll probably do a little more of. But it's exciting. It doesn't have a title yet, but the script is done, and I'm working with a really great dude over at Scout Films named Rob Eric, and it's really He's got a great mind for it, and we're both excited about it. And we're going to try and break ground on it next year, and really start because this has been a long time coming. And the thing I learned about the movie industry,
it takes a long time.
It takes a long time. And snail pace is actually fast for this industry.
Very fast for this industry. Generally, it's just dead halt for months.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But now it's getting very real, and we just actually had a meeting a couple hours ago about what's next, and it's looking really good, man.
Given that, do you have any aspirations in regards to screenwriting or possibly directing?
The funny thing is I kind of got a taste for it, and I have ideas all the time. And until I started kind of dabbling in the film side of things, I would just kind of relegate them to like short stories or whatever. But I came up with an idea for a script that I'm almost done with. I've got about 80 pages done, which is basically it's a good start, right? Yeah. And it's like a horror comedy, to be honest. And it's almost like Halloween meets the movie Clue. Okay. Where, you know what I'm saying? So it's like there's a lot of dialogue. So if I were to cast it, I would cast it with just like great theater actors, because there are beats in the dialogue that just have to be seamless, to make the humor work.
Absolutely.
But it's surrounded in this crazy thing that's going on, and it's completely out of the realm of reality. But right. I just love the idea of it. So. I showed it to my wife, and she just kind of stared at me for a second. I was just like, right?
No, but you're a genre fan. Studios will tell you, we don't want to produce horror comedies because audiences don't want them. Audiences do want them.
They do want them. Absolutely. All you have to do is watch Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz. I mean,
absolutely.
Basically anything Edgar Wright ever made, basically, and you know because this genre, the fans of this genre, if it's good, they'll get behind it 1,000%, and that's why this genre is still here, because it doesn't even have to be great quality. If there's something that can endear that movie to these fans, then it's gold, and that's why I'm proud to still be a fan.
Well, I'm looking forward to the screening tonight.
I am too.
Fear Clinic, congratulations, man.
Thanks, man.
Thanks so much for coming in and talking to Dread Central and coming down with us.
Oh, it's all good. It's my pleasure.
Congrats on the premiere tonight. Have a good day.
You too.
Is this the new poster, right?
It's so bad. Getting to hang out with him. Dude, I could do a whole fucking book about that.